Hey guys, and welcome to another edition of Books, Business, and Branding for Writers. And so, this video, we're going to feature or talk about some books, my book selection of the month of February. So, of course, we know that it is Black History Month as well as the month of love. So, I do have 10 books that I want to highlight in my bookshop.org bookstore. So the first one I do have here for the kids, the ABCs of Black History, right? And it is a New York best time seller. And I love here where it says B is for beautiful, brave, and bright. A book and for a book that takes a bold journey through the alphabet of Black history and culture. And so I love the vibrant color here of this book, and I think it's definitely something, a good read if you have little ones that you want to educate them about, the Black culture, as well as educating them on their ABCs. In here, you can see the different reviews they have from New York Times, Book List, Kirkus, Publishers Weekly. So definitely, recommend. I love this book. That is why it's in my book of the month selection. So right here, the next one that I have is the wonderful, amazing Viola Davis, honey. I tell people, when you cry, you got to get that Viola Davis cries, honey. She is infamous for that snot running down her nose, baby. And so I was blessed to see like a snippet of the interview that she had with Oprah, and the parts that I was able to hear about her life story, her memoir, is very moving, right? It was like you look at her and I wouldn't have assumed the things that she's gone through that she had gone through. So of course here, it is a Oprah book club pick. A Marie Claire most anticipated book, right? So if you love Viola Davis as an actor, or actress, I definitely recommend you picking up her book, checking it out. It is 304 pages. Here, out of 7 reviews, you can see here all what they share with the LA Times, Real Simple, New York Times, Kirkus, etc., etc. All right, so the next book here I have is entitled Twice as Hard. And the reason why I chose this book is because the mortality rate amongst Black women when giving birth is perhaps 2 times as high as any other race. Like, we go through a lot when giving birth. And so I selected this book because it's from a physician's point of view, not necessarily about the mortality rate, but just how hard they had to fight to become a physician. And so I just was like, you know what, I am curious to learn more about, us being within this industry, the medical field. And so it talks here about, the stories have gone untold for far too long, gaping holes in the American medical history. And here, just one here, the stories of Dr. Rebecca Lee Crumpler, who graduated from medical school only 14 months after the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, and provided medical care for the newly freed slaves who had been neglected and exploited in the medical system. All right, so as you see here, it says from the Civil War up to the 21st century. So it has a plethora of women, as well as expansive time frame as far as their stories. And I just thought that was really interesting, and a good perspective here. As you see, it says well researched reclamation of neglected yet invaluable history. Still Brown, as remarkable as the pioneer she profiles, ends on a high note, vowing to become a change maker. So if you are, wanting to learn more about, the history, you're into facts and information, have a curiosity into the medical field, then I would recommend this book. The next one here is The Promised Boys. I believe it's a fictional story. It's by the guy who did, I guess, the people who did The Hate You Give Oh, let me correct myself. It's Hate You Give meets One of Us is Lying, right? So it is a mystery about three boys of color who must investigate their principal's murder to clear their own names, right? And if you are a fan of Jason Reynolds, Angie Thompson's, or Karen Magnus, then this book is perhaps one that you want to go ahead and grab. All right. And so here, Nick Brooks is the author, award-winning filmmaker from DC. Okay. Feature film We Are Born Kings. Nothing Interesting Ever Happens to Ethan Fairmont. So definitely here you can check it out. All the different reviews. Here from Booklist, the top-notch page turner. Deep character study will grip readers who won't want to stop reading. All right. So definitely if you are into fiction, thrillers, definitely pick up The Promise Boards. Next, of course, I had to put this on here, Black Women Writers at Work, because what this page is all about writers. So what other book to feature than Black Women Writers at Work? And so they have some, features here, interviews with Maya Angelou, Tony Bombari, Gwendolyn Brooks, Nikki Giovanni, Gail Jones, Audre Lorde, Toni Morrison, etc., etc. So you can see here they have a variety of Black women writers that they have sat down and interviewed to get some of their practice and critical linkage between their work and their lived experience as Black women writers. And so definitely a book that I want to check out for this month, or because my reading list is quite thick this month. So definitely a book that I want to grab and have on my bookshelf to complete this year. Next, if you are one that you love, you have books in your coffee table, you perhaps entertaining, then maybe you want to check out the Illustrated Black History, honoring the iconic and the unseen. So this book has about 145 original portraits that celebrate Black pioneers. Now, I wish they would have showed the images, because I definitely would love to see that. But I'm gonna say the book cover in itself is definitely stands out. Is very popping, catches your eye. So if you're one that you want something on your coffee table to entertain your guests while you are hosting them, then definitely check this book out. It's a thick book. It has 384 pages, so definitely check it out. So we are about halfway through. The next one here, when I read this review, I was like, certain things like pull my emotional trigger. And just reading the blurb here was like, I could see me reading this book and just crying, right? So this is the most anticipated book of 2023, right? So it is a brand new debut. Rare, moving, powerful, this beautiful page-turning and redemptive story of a mother's gripping journey across the Caribbean to find her stolen children in the aftermath of slavery is a remarkable debut. The search begins with the ending. The master of the Providence plantation in Barbados gathers his slaves and announces that the king has decreed an end to slavery. We're going to go down here. But of course, no one can leave. They must work for him for another 6 years. And I believe it talks about how she's trying to find her 5 children who survived at birth and were sold, right? And so she goes this journey by the river in the deep forest to find them. And so just being a mother of a 1-year-old first time, I just know that this is going to pull on my heartstrings. So if you are definitely looking for something that's captivating, and as it says here, propulsive, then definitely pick this one up. Oh my gosh, and it has plenty of reviews, right? So transportive storytelling and achingly stirring and evocative prose, an excellent choice of fans. Those already planning their Black History Month reading list. Definitely, definitely. Yeah, I could tell that's really going to touch me. The next one here, I don't, ma'am or Mamie. I'm assuming Mamie. Sorry, y'all. So here is another one about yeah, excuse me. I'm in the recovery phase of my COVID. Oh, praise God. And Maddie's life in London is far from rewarding, with a mother who spends most of her time in Ghana, yet still somehow manages to be overbearing. I feel like some of us can relate to that. She's the primary caretaker of her father, who suffers from advanced stages of Parkinson. And so her mother comes back, and Maddie has been living this sheltered life. So, of course, when her mother comes back home, she feels like she can escape and try to go live her best life. But then, something happens with that challenges her, and she's forced to face the true nature of her unconventional family and the perils and rewards of putting her heart on the line. So definitely, as you see here, it has 5 reviews, and these are some other reviews that you can read here. I inhaled made me a brilliant coming of age story. Maddie is such a relatable heroine. Her voice honest, warm, heartbreaking, and heart healing. It felt truly modern, yet somehow timeless. I adored it. Mm. So another book, and then I think the lady, she's actually the author in itself. She was born and raised in London, to Ghanaian parents. So definitely, not that it's her memoir, but I feel like she's lived this, and definitely is speaking from a perspective that she can understand and perhaps even seen. So here, if you're interested into the romance, you have the Davenports, who's about, the wealth, swoon-worthy romance, which focuses, I guess, back in the 1900s, where here says in 1910s, and the Davenports live surrounded by servants, crystal chandeliers, and endless parties, finding their way and finding love, even when they're not supposed to. So definitely, if you're into romance, check out the Davenports. All right, one of the reviews, let's find one here. This deftly written series opener examines the lives of Black elites following Reconstruction, with a focus on constraints of women. The strong characterizations developed through the altering third-person perspectives and descriptive settings lure readers in. A dazzling debut. All right, all right, all right. Let me see. And all right, so the last book I have here is edited by Tarana Burke and Brene Brown, which y'all, if you're not familiar with either one, Tarana, she's part of the founder of the Me Too movement. And Brene Brown, I actually found her by her TED Talk, and which of course maybe go out and buy one of her books. But You Are the Best Thing: Vulnerability, Shame, Resilience, and the Black Experience. Um, they went out and interviewed Black writers, organizers, artists, etc., to get their discussion, their viewpoint on vulnerability and shame resilience. And so this book's here you see it's about social psychology, discrimination, race relations, and emotions. And this can definitely be, a sensitive topic for some, but it's definitely a topic that needs to be discussed and shall be continued to be discussed until, things change. And so, I already know this is just going to be a really dope one. So if you are into, learning about race relations, and definitely how, here, I think they had a quote here. I'm so glad we're talking about this. It makes sense to me, especially in terms of vulnerability. How do you take the armor off in a country where you're not physically or emotionally safe? Excellent question. Excellent question. So definitely check this book out. You Are the Best Thing. And then that concludes my top 10 books to read for the month of February. All right, guys. So I shall talk to you all next week. God bless.